There we go.
Got it. Okay. So these will be recorded so you can review them later. But if you have questions, then you are welcome to email me and I am more than happy to help you guys out. Now, let me first start by, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera because I will be looking at the screen to my left anyway, so you won't be able to see my face. But let's talk about Spark. Why Spark? What is it? Well, it's a very easy way to create graphic design elements, videos, and web pages for events and for sort of promotional items very quickly. There is a free version that is fully functional, which a lot of free programs out there don't have. Last May, I did a session on the various different free options that were out there. And I said, well, maybe I'll do Spark later. Well, it took a while, but here we are. Spark is the one I usually recommend. It is Adobe's. So we have a university approved vendor, which is nice. And then if you want to bump up the free version later to have extra features, then the full Adobe license, which is normally about $600 on the, on their website, is $40 if your department buys it from the Division of IT. So that's a pretty big bonus there. That's a nice little thing. So compared to a lot of other versions that have a subscription option, $40 is really, really cheap. So I will start out talking about the free version and showing you the free version. And then with whatever time I have left, I'll show you some of those extra licensed benefits, because I do want to focus on the free because that's kind of why we're here. Free, quick design options that are kind of like Photoshop, kind of like Illustrator, but really quick and easy. You can create something in just a few minutes, as you'll see. Now, if you do want to follow along, if you already have an account, you can go to spark.adobe.com and you can go ahead and log in. Spark.adobe.com. And you can log in with a variety of different logins. You don't have to have an Adobe login anymore, which is really nice. You can, if you have either a free Adobe login or a paid Adobe login, you can use either one. But you can also log in with Apple, Facebook, or Google, which is kind of nice. Someone asked, is the license program available for self-use as an employee? Technically, I don't think so. I think the licensing program is just for work stuff, but they would probably be okay with you practicing on other things. Practice is always good. All right. So on the website, if you go to Spark, again, spark.adobe.com, you can view all three apps together. And they have the logo that you see at the top left corner of my screen. It says Adobe Spark, and it just has all three of them together. If you are looking for an app, for instance, on your phone or your tablet, on your iPhone or iPad, you can find all three of these icons. They're all separate apps rather than having them all together. Spark Post is where we're gonna spend most of our time today, because that's the graphic design option. Spark Video allows you to make video, and Spark Web Pages allows you to make web pages. What can you do with these? Well, with the video, you can make a quick little video using a couple clips on your phone and a few photos on your phone. You can even add voiceover with your own voice, and you can do it very, very quickly. It adds transition and even a little music in the background for you. The web page allows you to create a quick web page that is really nice transitions, really nice look. It's just a single web page, so I would recommend that you use it for things like showing off travel, right? You went on vacation and you have some cool travel photos. You could use it for that. For work, you could use it for something like donors, showing off what you did with the donated money in a really nice fashion that you can send out in an email, and they can flip through it and see pictures nicely. Or maybe, you know, staff awards, it might be something that you could use for that. I'll show you a couple examples of those, but like I did say, I'm going to focus on Spark Post. Now, Spark Post has the advantage that it is available on iPhone, iPad, most Android phones. It's in the Google App Store and also on the desktop browser. So anything you have, right? Any device you have, you can use Spark Post on it, which is really nice. The free image, the 3 images that I have on the left-hand side of my slide, those are all from the iPhone version. As you can see, you have quite a few options. All the options that you have on the phone, you also have on the desktop. So that's kind of nice. You can edit photos, make them look nice, add saturation, brightness, and things like that, just like you can in Instagram photos. The middle one shows you kind of various different things you can add, including, notice, animation to your video, to your photo. And then the third image shows editing text a little bit, adding shadows and outlines and fun things like that. Okay. And then of course, the bottom right image is showing the desktop version. I will be showing the desktop version when I'm demoing it. And remember, that's spark.adobe.com if you want to check that out. I'm going to repeat that lots of times because once you got it, hopefully you'll remember it. All right, so here are some examples of what you can do with Spark Post. So Spark Post, oh, and I should mention that if you're looking for it on the App Store, make sure you add Adobe to the beginning. So you're actually looking for Adobe Spark Post. Or if you just look for Adobe Spark, that'll find it. Just make sure that you're looking for the same icon that you see in the top right corner of this particular slide. And I will even double check to make sure it still looks like that. Yes, still looks like that on my phone. Okay, so the image on the left, the far left, is a still image. But something that they've added recently to Spark Post is the ability to add animation. This is really great for social media and for even sharing in some forms of email and things like that, because you can add a very basic animation that adds interest and makes it more eye-catching. Okay, now both of these export as videos, and then they're very short videos, so you can then post them on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. In this case, I made it an Instagram size collage. Now, if I just click on it, did you guys see that? Let me play it again. Just a nice, subtle addition of some text. St. Augustine, Florida. That's where I took these pictures. The third one is a little bit less subtle, but notice that you can also add animation with the pictures. Okay. Just a nice, easy animation that if they click on it, it'll give them a little bit more and make it a little bit more interesting. So that's something new that I wanted to show you guys the end product before I got into Spark, because I won't be able to show you the end product once I'm there, because we'll be doing something else. So again, you can do a still image, you can do a PDF, you can do a video with text motion, a video with image motion. These videos are 720. That's your maximum width. So just be aware of that. You can't do 1080, but for most things like social media, that's just fine. Pretty nice. Someone's asking, can you do audio over video for training on Spark Video? Yes, you can. So if you had a video of someone, I don't know, cleaning a machine part, right? You could have the video playing and you can do audio voiceover over the top of it. You could also just do images, right? You could put an image in and then you could do a voiceover. This is the X part. You're going to put it here. And then the next picture could be where you're putting it or whatever. So lots of different options on that one. All right, let's dive in. I'm going to exit out of my presentation, and I will go to the free version of Spark first. All right. Somebody asked, do you suggest we use the app or go online? That's a good question. And the answer is whatever works best for you. So essentially, where are your images? Do you have most of your images on your desktop? If so, go ahead and use your desktop. There's no download required. As you guys can see, I'm in a browser. I'm currently logged in using Firefox to a free account. And you can see I've got all the different options and things, and I'm going to go through and use the whole process. I haven't downloaded anything. The benefit of the app, having the app on your phone, is that you can do the same things when you're out in the field. So if you're in a research lab, or you're out in a garage showing something, or if you're even out in a field somewhere showing somebody something, wherever you are, you can still use the app because it's on your phone and you can take it wherever. There's also the benefit that in those cases, most of the time you're going to be taking the pictures with your phone. And so then it's nice and easy to get those pictures into post. Now, I will say that what I do very frequently, because a lot of my pictures are coming from my phone, they're things I've taken with my phone, I will start the project on my phone, do most of the work there, and then finish it up on the desktop, because everything you make in the phone will appear automatically on the desktop because it's all the same account. If you're not seeing the same thing when you first open it up, that's fine. You will probably start right here. This is home. And this allows you to see a whole bunch of different sizes of items that you might start with. You've got a lot of beautiful templates, as they say, to start with. Any projects that you've made before are next. And then tutorials. So if you guys need more help later and you can't contact me for whatever reason, you can use these. Now, I do want to mention that the ones with the yellow tags, so see some of these templates have little yellow tags in the top right corner. Those are a little bit different. Those are part of the paid subscription. So if you have an Adobe subscription, let's say you already have Photoshop. If you have Photoshop, you have the subscription, and so therefore you can use those. If you're on the free plan, you cannot use those, but you can use the ones without those. Now, I'm actually going to start from scratch, absolute scratch. There's two ways you can do that. You can click on the little Facebook post icon, or whichever one you want to try, or you can click on the plus in the top left corner. In the top left corner, you can see most of them are also there. I'll choose Facebook post. I think Facebook is one of the most common that we use at the University of Missouri, probably certainly what we use in Extension. I am currently working for Extension. I did previously work for Do It IT in training. Now, what we have over here on the left-hand side, we have a bunch of options. And I'm going to pretty much ignore most of those. I'm going to select photos, because what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add some of the content that I want to add. Let's see, I know I need 2 photos. I know I have 2 photos I want to use, and I know the text I'm going to use. So I will select upload photo. And I've actually already downloaded a couple images, a few images here from Shutterstock. So I'll go ahead and open those. Now these are fairly large images, so they're going to take a little bit of time to upload. The size of the image does matter in how quickly it loads. These are quite large. Now I licensed these from our university Shutterstock account. However, you do want to make sure that whatever images you use, if you're putting them out there in the public eye, you want to make sure that they are copyright friendly, either copyright free, or we have the copyright, or that's clear. Also, if you're putting them out in the public eye, if there's a person in them, if there's a person who's you can tell who they are, then make sure that you have signed released form for that person, making sure that we have the rights to put their picture out there. All right, so I've uploaded one photo. I'll go ahead and snag the other one. Now, hopefully you guys have eaten. Otherwise, this presentation is going to make you a little bit hungry. Sorry. Or hopefully you're eating right now. Somebody said they were going to eat their lunch during the presentation, and hopefully this will help stir the hunger. All right. It doesn't really matter where I put these two images because I'm going to change the design anyway. Okay. So I'm going to go over now to text, and I'm going to select text on the far left-hand side. And you can see that there are several sort of pre-formatted text pieces. So if I knew that I wanted the text in a circle, I could choose the one that's in a circle, and it would go ahead and let me change the text of that circle to whatever I want. So all of these are very flexible. You can change any of the text in them. I have used the Rosa's Taco Shop quite a lot because it's great for doing locations for events. And you can change the font if you want to, but the font is made to fit the little arrow with the circle, the location arrow. But for this, just to keep it really simple, I'm just going to click Add Text, right? The Add Your Text button. And it drops text onto here, and it says double click to edit. But when you first add the text, it's already selected. So I don't even have to double click on it. I can just type in food choices are important. Right? Let's say I'm doing a something about, healthy for life type of thing. All right, so food choices are important. Well, this is an okay start, but I need some pre-made designs. Let's say I don't know anything about design and I just need some easy designs. Or maybe I know something about design, but I need this in a hurry. I need this in about 5 minutes. So what I can do is I can deselect everything. I'll just click up in the gray area to deselect everything. Then over on the right-hand side, see where it says design? I'll click on that. All right, so over here on the right-hand side, you can see we have variations. And these are pre-built designs that you don't have to worry about whether it's going to look nice because it's pre-built. And once you add them, you can adjust them. Now, I want you guys to notice that most of these have very obvious places for 2 images. And that is because I have 2 images on the presentation, on the slide piece thing. Okay. Because I have 2 images on here, it's giving me options with 2 images. So I'll go with Newsflash. All I'm doing is clicking on it. And I'm going to give it a second because these images are pretty big and it's going to apply this design to these images. Bang. We've got a design. Now, is it perfect? No. I might want to go over here and move this image over a little bit. I may want to click on this circle. Maybe, let's see, maybe drag it down a little bit. And then maybe drag this down a little bit so it's a little bit further into it. You can see it a little bit better. But you can see that it was very much instant. Now, let's say that I don't like this blue background. I can click on it. And you'll notice over on the right-hand side, it shows the color. So I could just change the color. But I actually want to choose an image. Now, this is going to be horrific, but I'm going to upload a background image. We'll see how bad it is. In the meantime, I'll take a peek at the chat. It looks like people are mentioning Canva. Canva is very similar. The license is a little bit more. It's about $120 per year versus the $40 that the university allows for the full Adobe suite. And Canva is just Canva. But they do both have free versions, and they do similar things as far as design goes. This is a really big background image that I probably should have resized a little bit. I didn't think it was quite this big. There we go. It's a picture of marble. Now, as you can see, it doesn't really work. It's a little bit awkward. It's a little bit weird as far as the design goes and everything else goes. If I decide that that picture didn't really work, well, over on the right-hand side, I can just click remove background. Now, if I think it works, but not quite, you can go down here towards the bottom and you see where it says filters, enhancements, and blur. Maybe it just needs some blur, right? That kind of makes it a little bit more vague in the background. Maybe that's all it needs. I can also do enhancements. So enhancements includes the sort of thing that you would find, the sort of thing that you would find in Instagram. So maybe I decrease the saturation a little bit. Or I bring the highlights and the shadows down so there's not as much contrast. Or I just decrease the contrast. Right? There's lots of things that I can do to this image to make it work just a little bit better for what I want. All right, I'll turn those off and I'll go to filters. There are some filters that I can choose as well. Duotone is new, but you've always been able to do grayscale, darken, lighten, multiply, right? Set it to a multiply design, or colorize. Different things that make it more of a texture, but don't make it step away from your text and your other images and content quite so much. I'll actually go with that for now. If I decide that I don't want it at all, I can simply remove background on that same side towards the top. It's going to take a while again, unfortunately, because it's a big image, but then it'll go back to just being a color. Oh, that was weird. Little fluke there. I'll worry about that later. All right, so let's look over on the left-hand side because I want to show you guys some options for photos. Because let's say that you do not have photos. If you go to photos, you'll notice it says find free photos. Now, I looked earlier for carrots, right? I just typed carrots in the search box and it actually came up with a lot of free images of carrots that I could have used. These images are from Pixabay, and you can look at that website. Pixabay is a free photo sharing website, and you might want to take a look at their licensing options before you use the image, but it's pretty open. It's pretty well done. So if I want to add one of these images, I can just click on it. Apparently I picked a large one. And now it drops that image in there. And I can do the same thing to it that I could before, right? Over on the right-hand side, I can do filters, adjustments, enhancements, blur the image out. Whatever I need to do to this particular image. Now, if I look over on the right-hand side, notice I have crop and shape. If I select that, it allows me to Maybe I want to do a circle for it. Maybe I want to do more of a rounded rectangle. Now, since the other ones are circles, I'm going to go ahead and do a circle for that. And then up towards the top, I'll do the little checkbox. Done. And now this one is a circle with the other ones. So maybe I just move it in with that and it becomes part of the circles, or maybe I move it over here, right? Whatever you want to do to make it part of your design. Other free things that are part of this system. They're over on the left-hand side. Now, I mentioned text, that the fact that there are various different text templates that you can use, sort of pre-built interesting things. There are also icons. So up here, just like for the images, I typed in a word like Spark, and I got all of these different icons that sort of associate with Spark, like spark plugs, wands, light bulbs, all kinds of things that kind of go with Spark. So let's say, for instance, I was doing a piece on water, maybe water cleanliness or something. I can do a search for water, and it gives me all these different icons. These icons are also available in the video side of Spark. So you can also add these to your video as a little interesting item. Design assets. These are fairly new. I don't remember if they were on here last year when I did this presentation, but I'm not sure they were. There are certainly a lot more of them. So what are design assets? Well, they're more than icons, but less than images. So for instance, if I want a little illustration piece, maybe I'll click on more for illustrations. And you can see there are a variety of different options, and I can even search for things. So maybe I search for food, and I get lots of little food illustrations. Some of them are actually fairly realistic. Oh. Now, if you pick something that is part of the premium subscription, something you have to pay for, that's any of those little yellow tag ones, it'll say, hey, unlock this if you want to, and start my trial. There is a 30-day trial. So if you just wanted to try the premium version and see if you like it, you can do a 30-day trial, which is quite a while, and figure out what you want to do with it. Or maybe you'll only have 1 or 2 projects a year that you need to use this for. Then you could just do the 30-day trial and you wouldn't have to worry about a subscription. But anyway, that's what happens when you click on something that isn't part of the free. So I will pick something random here. I think that's a donut. It's a slightly odd donut. It looks a bit like a pizza. Right. All right. So then you can add illustrations to your item as well. Maybe you want the whole thing to be more illustrative. You could just use illustrations if you wanted, and that would be fine. It's just whatever design choice you go with. Now, in this particular case, since everything else is photographs, the illustration looks a little out of place, right? That's just sort of a design tip. So if you're going one way as far as all photos, you probably want to stick with all photos. Or if you're going all illustration, maybe you stick with illustration. It's not a hard rule, but usually you want to stick them together. I'll go ahead and remove that. Something else you might want to, oh, someone read my brain in the chat. Something else you want to remove maybe is the logo down here in the bottom right-hand corner. If you click on it, it says remove once. If you select remove once, it automatically opens up the pricing plan and shows you, hey, you can try it free for 30 days. And these are your options for purchasing. If you just close that window to go back to your Spark window, notice it's gone. and you didn't actually start any sort of plan or 30-day trial or anything. It just got rid of it. So every time you remove the watermark, it will open up that extra window, but you just close it and you go back to your Spark. Okay. So that's how you get rid of the watermark. Of course, if you do have a subscription, it'll never be there. You won't have to remove it because it's just gone. All right. Back to the left-hand side, there are some free backgrounds that you can choose from. So let's say I wanted to go with a space background. Doesn't really fit my topic or what I'm talking about, but it's one of the first ones, so we'll throw it in there. All right. So there are also these free backgrounds that I can put here. Notice it covers everything. That's not cool. Now I can click this little button over on the right-hand side that says add to background. And that sort of adds it, but let me uncheck that. I can also just move it to the back. So on the right-hand side, you have these three icons. First one, as it indicates, is replace image. So if you want to swap the image out with something else, that's your option. You can also duplicate it. So if you had this circle, and this is exactly the size circle you want, but maybe you don't want that image, you can actually duplicate it. Now you have two of them, and you just replace one of the images inside the circle. So it's a nice quick way to do a design that way. So duplicate, really handy. You can also duplicate text, which again is a nice, quick, easy way to do things. But what I was going for was this little layer order. Notice it says move to top, move up, move down, or move to the bottom. If I move to the bottom, it moves it underneath all of my normal content. So I can also use that layer stack order to move something to the background if needed. I can also just remove it using the trash can to take it out. All right, so backgrounds, several free backgrounds already created over here for you that you can use. Logos. Now, logo, this is a little bit tricky because you can't use their branding things without paying for the subscription. However, you could still add your logo as an image. So if you have a photo that is your logo, you can just add it as a regular photo, right? Photo, upload photo, and you can put your logo on something that way. And that works perfectly well. And then libraries. Libraries are another item that you cannot use. People can share libraries with you. You can create your own library, but you can't use it unless you have a subscription, which is the weirdest thing in the world. And the fact that they let you create your own with a free account or let people share with you using a free account, but don't let you use those things in a design tells me that they're working on making it free, but it's not there yet. That's just my guess. I could be wrong, but I've been in several of the betas and it just seems like something that's coming down the pipeline. So you might keep that in mind for later. So libraries, not available to the free, and logos, you can import it as an image, but the actual logos button over on the right-hand side, that's not for the free. Then over on the far right-hand side, different things that we haven't looked at yet. Colors. Colors allows you to swap out the entire design color coordination system. So these are the current colors that I'm working with. If I like these colors, but not the order they're in, I can click on the swap. It looks like two little arrows. If I click on that, it'll just automatically swap them around. So you can try different options and see if there's something with the right colors. Maybe they're just not quite in the right places. If you want to actually change the colors, there are a whole bunch of pre-built color systems that you can start with. So let's say I want to choose this one. I have no idea if it's a good choice. Okay, looks interesting, not bad. Maybe I want this one instead. It automatically switches all the colors. So unlike in Photoshop or some other programs where you would have to change each individual item to the color and make sure you match the colors and all that kind of stuff, this changes all the colors. Bam, done. Awesome. I don't like it quite, but I like the colors. Swap, shuffle. It tries again using the same colors. Swap, shuffle, try again. Swap, shuffle, try again. And you can just kind of shuffle through colors until you find something you want. Now, if you want to make your own, you can, because if you click on it, you can see that there is a little change color icon as well as swap. And you can choose which color you want to change. So maybe I want to change this one to something with a little more saturation. All right. I click on where I want that color to be, hit enter, do it again, maybe pick another color, change that to something more interesting. All right, enter. Maybe I want that to be slightly darker. Enter, right? And I can play around with these. And now I've changed all the colors. So now I'll swap, I'll shuffle. And now it's choosing from those new colors that I decided. That's not bad. I probably work on it and change it to something else, but we'll leave that for now. All right, so that's colors. Animation. Animation allows you to choose how you want that text to come in, make it a little more interesting. So I'll choose dynamic first. It takes a second to apply the animation, but then it shows you what it's going to look like. Let me just hover over that. I'll go with that. There we go. So I can see how that's going to pop in. Takes a second, right? You can also do the photo animation. So I could do, let's see, I'll do a zoom. And it kind of zooms in on them. Maybe I want it to zoom out. I'll give it a second. And then they all zoom out. Not bad. Interesting. Makes it more interesting. Particularly for social media, video is a lot more popular and a lot more eye-catching right now. So it might be nice to just add a little bit of animation just so it's a video and people play it and they're more interested in it. They interact with it maybe. They're more likely to click on it and check it out. So I'll go ahead and say none for now. There's one more option here that I want to show you guys. I already showed you background a little bit, but I'm going to click on Resize. And Resize is one of my favorite things about Spark. My favorite, these are a few of my favorite things, right? I can choose Facebook, which is what I've got now, but then, you know what, I decide later, I also need to post this on Twitter. This is going to be a Twitter thing as well. So I scroll down and I see, oh, there's Twitter. I click on it. And now it's the size of a Twitter post, right? It looks almost the same. It's got a little, things move around a little bit, but it's got the same look, right? So let's try something that's not quite the same shape, something that's more Instagram, more square. I'll click on that. Okay, that worked a little bit differently, right? Because it's such a completely different shape, it moved things around a little bit differently. But we can work with this because everything is still there. We didn't have to start from scratch. So I'm going to click on the black circle. I'm going to hold down Shift, just like I would in other Adobe programs and Microsoft programs, and click on the picture in the middle. And I'm also going to click on this little black circle as well. So I have 3 items, and I can move them, and I can resize them together, and maybe move them back a little bit. I can do the same up here with chocolate. I can select the black circle, select the chocolate, make it bigger, move it down a little bit. I'm just going to get rid of these. I'll keep it simple. Right? So now I've adjusted this for Instagram. It's ready to roll. And I've got, what, maybe 2 seconds put into this? It was really, really quick. So now I'm going to go up to download. Notice I've got 3 options: PNG, JPEG, or PDF, and some aren't sure which to choose. PNG gives you a full quality photo. Right? It's a slightly higher quality image than a JPEG is, because a JPEG is compressed. However, a JPEG, if you're putting something on the internet, is a good choice because it is compressed, meaning the file is a little bit smaller and therefore faster to upload. If you are creating something that you're going to want for maybe something higher quality, maybe it's a flyer, maybe it's something that's going to go in print at some point, which you can do using this system. You could create a flyer or something like that you could print. Then you want to make sure you choose PDF. That's your highest quality PDF. Now, your print is only going to be as good as your stuff that you put into it. So if you're using tiny photos and you put them into this design and then you turn it into a PDF and you print it, if those photos were tiny and you stretched them out and made them pixelated, they're going to be pixelated when you print it too. So keep that in mind. But PDF is your print option. And the fact that we have a print option for something free like this is pretty cool. And then I would select Start Download, and it would download that into my Downloads folder, same place it normally goes when you download something. But then, I'll go ahead and cancel it because I don't actually need to download it. But it would go into your Downloads folder and you could get it from there. Now, let's say I don't want to download it, but I want to get it to someone. If I click Share, I can publish it from here and get a link. I can also invite someone else to work on it. Now, this is another one of those premium items, because for them to open it up, they have to have a subscription. You don't, but they do. You can also turn it into a template so that other people can use it, or you can use it later. Maybe you're doing a whole series of these and this is just the first one. You could create a template using it. Now, the templates are one of those premium features. So if you're using the free plan, don't. All right. You could also send it to Google Drive and that would work too. But let me talk about that template feature a little bit more. I'm going to go back to projects. So up at the top, it says My Post, and then it says Projects. If I click on Projects, it saves this one and adds it to my list of overall projects that I've done. So I've got My Post here. So I can redo this one whenever I want. Let's say I've already downloaded it as a Twitter post. I've downloaded it as a, what else did I do? Facebook and Instagram. I've already downloaded all 3 of those. Okay, so I'm done with that this week. Next week, we're doing another one. It's part of the same series, but it's slightly different. So I can just go to this project, say Edit Project, and then I can just alter the images, alter the text, re-download, right? It's going to re-download the new version. So let's say the next week I'm talking about some other type of food. Maybe I'm talking about, let's see, beans. Ooh, coffee beans, even better. I choose coffee beans. Maybe we're talking about caffeine and how important and wonderful caffeine is, or maybe how bad it is. But it's going to put this image in instead. I can just drag it. Should be able to just drag it and drop it in there. I'll just crop the shape. Hold on. Let me do that again. Right. There we go. To get it to go into that circle, what I should have done is select the circle. And then over on the right-hand side, we have remove background or replace. And I should have selected replace. Taking a little bit longer than it usually does. But it was yesterday as well. So I don't think it's my internet's. Let's see. What do we got in the chat here? Does it allow you to go back, e.g. 5 steps back before creating further? You do have an undo option. Up at the top, you've got the undo button, undo replace photo, and you can go back multiple versions. You can go back multiple different times. Now, along with that, I should say that the undo option that you can use in all programs, Control Z, works in this. So if you just hit Control Z like you would normally do in PowerPoint or Word or whatever, Photoshop, it will go ahead and undo the option, undo what you just did. And if you do Control Y, which works in Microsoft programs and Windows, but not always in Adobe, in this program, Control Y works for redo, which is kind of cool. So that's how I would swap out the images, and then it would be ready for the next week's project. All right, we only have a few short minutes left, so I'm going to minimize this. Hopefully you guys have some good ideas about projects you might do. Now I want to show you a few of the paid premium options. And I want to focus on brands and libraries because those are the two things that I think we would use a lot at the university. So libraries. Now you would use this mainly if you have groups of people working together. Like for instance, 2 or 3 people in the field who are creating assets like pictures and things like that. And then one other person who's back at the desk who maybe is making the designs. Now here I have the MU extension library. So if I open that up, I have these 3 templates that have been created. Now these 3 templates, I can open them up and I can rework them and it doesn't save over the top of them. Like the one we just did where I replaced the carrots and the chocolate with beans. Next time I come back, it's going to be beans instead of chocolate and carrots. So it sort of overwrites what was there. Now that's okay if I was never going to use the previous one again. And I can always duplicate projects and work on the duplicate, and that's fine. But using a template will always make sure that you're not saving over it. So that's kind of nice. Also, we actually have a graphic designer for extension. And so your graphic designer or your marketing team or whoever you have can make a whole bunch of templates that use the grand design. So let me show you what we have so far. So we have all of these MU and extension branded items with different designs. They all kind of go together and they can be used together. And I can just grab one of those and use it. And I know that it's a nice professionally created item that is already branded. I don't have to worry about fonts. I don't have to worry about, is the logo right? All that kind of stuff. It's already there in the template. So that's kind of nice. Another thing that you can share in libraries is assets. So all of these different logo designs, like the logo with the text on the swoosh, right? All the swooshes, all the text that's been sort of brushed on, all that kind of stuff is right there. And I can use it on other designs that I create. So I can stick with the look that we're trying to go for, or the brand that we're trying to go for, or whatever we're doing here. Now, besides libraries, so remember, libraries has templates and those assets. Besides libraries, we also have brands. Brands are really nice because you can brand whatever you want. You can make a design and then click brand, and it switches all the colors to your brand colors. So you can see this is my personal account. So I've got multiple different brands that I've helped out, that I've worked with. And so I'm just going to go to extension. You can see what's included in the brand. Of course, the brand includes various different styles of logo, depending on what I'm creating, whether it's Instagram or maybe a longer Facebook post. I might need the longer logo, or I might need the shorter social media version. You can see I have all of the colors included, all the main colors, as well as the sub colors for extension. All those are included, so I can have those to pick from. I've got all of the fonts that we normally use on our website. Now, one other thing about the subscription is that you can use all of your Adobe fonts in Spark. Let me say that again. You can use any Adobe font in Spark. So you're not just limited to a few fonts. You've got lots and lots and lots. You've also got dark, medium, and light themes for your project, as well as logo setups for the website and the video options. So all that's included in the brand. So if I go to project, and I will pick, let's see, I'll pick the post here for St. Augustine that I showed you earlier. All right. So if I want to brandify it, currently it's brandified using my own personal brand, melwolverson.com. But if I click on brand options, I can switch brand. Then I can choose the extension brand. And bam, it is changed the border. You can see that the border has an MU color and the St. Augustine, Florida has a color. Now, all the rest are images, so they're not going to change colors or anything like that. But you can see that it has changed the look. And if I click on brandify or brandify again, see it has the little shuffle icon. It'll shuffle those colors. Maybe I like that. Maybe I want to go with a lighter gold. How do you download the brands and images for the university? Well, either you can make it or somebody else can make it for you, and then they can share it with you through Spark, and then you just accept it and it's there. So I've shared out this brand that I created with the rest of the marketing team who uses Spark, and now they've got all the logos, all the colors, all that kind of stuff ready to roll, and they can just use it if they want to. And the graphic designer created the library that has all of those different pre-built templates in it and things like that. She shared it out with the rest of us, and now we can use that to create different items using those templates. Someone is asking, do we still have to use the style guide info? The basic style guide is still implied, right? The main point being we don't want to mess with the logo, right? The style guide issues that are around our MU logo and our various different extension and smaller logos, we want to make sure that those stay clean and clear and crisp the way the style guide implies. Now, as far as fonts, right, things like that, if at all humanly possible, stick with it. But we understand that you might need a little bit of design license with maybe the font. Maybe you're doing something special. But the logo, very important. Keep to the guide for that. And you can also go, if you're like, what are you talking about? You can go to identity.missouri.edu. That's identity.missouri.edu to check out what those guidelines are. Does MU have any libraries shared that we can join if we are not in extension? No, not currently. However, I believe that is in the works, and it could be created very quickly, if not very quickly and shared. If not. There we go. Kim has shared out Identity.Missouri's visual identity and brand graphics options. Thank you very much. We just have a couple minutes left. Do you guys have any questions? While you're doing questions, I will pull up a video example and a website example. So here is a video example. I'll just quickly play it. You can see it's just got a little music in the background and has some transitions, some slides. You can add text. All of this is pre-built in. Maybe not use it quite as much text as this, but you know, sometimes you need to. And you can then download that, add it to YouTube, and use it wherever you want to, including on your website. All right. Always keep videos less than 60 seconds if possible. You're going to get more connection with people. People are more likely to watch it. The other thing is a website. So very quickly, let me show you that. It is just a single page, but as you can see, it's got a lot of design elements. You can add video if you want to. Multiple videos. There are photo slideshows that you can add. And there's also the photo slide with the text sliding by thing going on, which is pretty cool. And it works really well for presentations and things like that. This presentation will be saved, it will be recorded, and you can check it out later. Susan, I'm not sure if you want to pop on and let people know where the recording will be. I think they'll get an email with that.
Well, we have a YouTube channel that it'll be posted on. So, but I don't really email it out because I don't really have a good list of people to email it to. So, I can give you that though. I can drop it in chat real quick.
All right. And the previous one that I did last spring on other free options, I believe that's on the YouTube channel already. So if you guys want to check that out, that's there.
Yeah, all of last year's are on there. Well, the previous ones. So the sessions that we had permission to record.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of time. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me, drop a line. I'd be happy to help. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you, Mel. And give me a week to get those videos up too. They're not going to be up tomorrow.
That's cool.
Always inspiring, Mel. I always think, oh man, I should do these things.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I help out with the local theater, the Maplewood Barn Theater.
Yes.
And I use it a lot for that.
Yeah.
And my husband wrote a book.
Oh.
So whenever he tweets something out about it, he can use that as well.
Yeah.
Because he's got the free version, right? So he can jump in and use that.
Cool. I like it. Okay, well, I think we can just go on and sign off at this point.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.